one job, and everything is gonna be okay.
Well, our, what do we call this? Drift guard?
Yeah.
Our race car guard.
It's not a bumper. It's not.
You know what it is? It's sexy.
It's sexy. Oh, but let's undress her. She gets sexier.
How cool is that?
I'm really happy with how it's turning out.
So, going over what we got here, Jared's built, is there's 2 bolts on here that kind of hold it to a bumper bracket. This bumper bracket goes in here and it has 2 bolts that are accessible from the inside of the fender area. So these 2 bolts come out and this whole system comes out. It is kind of the rear cross member as well as a bumper, and it's obviously built mostly for cosmetics, but it most definitely would, you know, stop the body from getting really wadded. These kind of come out and the fenders will kind of come in like this, and basically this is what the body shows, something like that, and then the fender will keep going forward, so there'll be like a little tuck in the fender.
So if it took a post to the corner, it likely wouldn't cave the fender in. It would hit that first.
Yeah, and so that's kind of why we're calling it a drift type bumpers, because the way they do theirs is similar. It's basically, you know, kind of aesthetically looks more like the Baja kind of a bumper.
But Kyle was very specific. He did not want it to look Rancho.
I don't have Rancho in my heart. But this also mounts the exhaust, which the exhaust is going to come out through the bumper area. So that's kind of centralized as being kind of one piece, so they don't move different than each other. Also, this is obviously for a Corvette. Maybe not obviously. This is for a Corvette, and we did have to cut them down a little bit to where this didn't come out as far from the muffler, because we just didn't have room in between the 2 frame rails for this exhaust. We had no idea how this would go, and so this exhaust was what, 400?
I think 350.
And so it's on the cheaper side for these Corvette exhausts. They usually run around 680 is what I seem to keep seeing over and over again.
Yeah. And if you want a Borla, it's $2,000.
So since we're not doing a purpose, you know, it isn't, we don't need it to fit on a Corvette. It just, we want that look. It's still all stainless. It has these nice looking folded tips, and you can see the bars are set to kind of the angle of the tip, and it's kind of a roll panish, get rid of the factory rear bumper, something smooth, semi-Euro, and rear muffler. Reason we talked about rear mufflers and we ended up doing that was when you have the mufflers in the middle of the car, it does have that hot rod sound, but we wanted to stay away from a truck sound. This is more of a car sound, and hopefully having the mufflers at the back kind of makes it look a little bit more, sound a little bit more car-ish. But it's looking really good, and there is a lot of strength there.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of time, because just building a standard tube bumper is difficult to get everything to line up, and when we've got started with 4 floating pieces, like, to make sure all of those are good, it's been a lot of work.
And plus we're, you know, it still hasn't been on, you know, we don't have the car body on it, so yeah, there is still a little bit of a scary element there.
That's why I don't plan to full weld it until
right,
until we can test it.
But we do have our cardboard template. So our cardboard template was made to tell us where the back of the car is. Now, according to everything we got, that's the bottom of the deck lid there. And so that's what will actually hang and we'll actually see from the back. And in wanting this center exit exhaust, it was, our fuel tank sits right here. I mean, it, you know, it's probably lower than those mufflers. So it's not making it in there. And this has kind of been the thing that has been bugging me.
I think that
So there's a mark here,
yeah,
and a mark here.
and then the spare tire.
And the spare tire well goes right through here. So the big deal now, even after getting this done, is where we're going to put a fuel tank. This has pretty much already secured the fact that we can't use the floor. So it kind of has, in the trunk of the car, it kind of has these, almost a pocket where the rails sit. And we needed to cut out the floor for the notch. And our rear diff is going to be coming up further, so there might have been some of that needed to come up. But really, it's going to be hard to get a fuel tank in here, and I've been kind of going over that. I've talked to the customer. He doesn't want to see the fuel tank inside the trunk. You know, if it was okay to see it in the trunk, we could just plop a fuel cell in there, but he doesn't want to smell it. He doesn't want to see it.
Yeah.
He wants to use the car. So I've been thinking about different things, but basically the floor might be able to be here and have a fuel tank under it.
Even if we came from like not the top of the notch, but right here, we could fit fuel tank there, keep it above the frame rail, and then in the back do like a little tool cubby.
Mm-hmm.
Build in a little cubby in the back so it doesn't like step down and do weird stuff.
It's going to be interesting, but the way I kind of am figuring it is we get the fuel tank figured out, and then we actually build most of the floor right here without the car, and then we'll take the floor and put it in the car. Other option is it can be up here. You know, a lot of cars, unibody cars, would have it under the back seat. Our back seat, where does it start? Up there. It doesn't even go back to that bar, does it? The front seat.
The peak of this is about halfway through the back seat. So the back seat starts right here.
So it could have possibly two tanks there, but and it could also probably have the tank here. If we continue this flat to the back of the seat, the tank could sit up here. But that's going to make it harder to get to our stock fuel neck back here, or basically impossible. But cosmetically, this is what we wanted, so that's what's got to be built around. And it is going to be probably the most difficult part of this build. I was thinking that it could have a tank that had kind of like sump kind of comes over to here, and we could have it made, or we could make it ourselves. But fuel tanks are freaking tough. I've tried to build a couple of motorcycle gas tanks, and it is not easy to seal one up. But there is people that do it for lots of money. We can have a custom tank built. People in town that can do it for us. So if it comes to it, that's what we do. Some of the lower profile tanks I found there's a 17-gallon one that is just kind of a rectangle. It's 8 inches tall, 17 gallons, but I don't think it has baffles. And that's another thing that you want to think about. In a non-baffled tank, as the driver, in a car that's made to be so drivable, you know, this is supposed to be a performance driving car, when that fuel sloshes from one side to the other, you're going to fill it. And 17 gallons at, 7 pounds a gallon, it's a lot of weight.
Yeah. Carbureted vehicles are okay without a baffled tank because you're running lower pressure and you have a bowl on the car, and so it's kind of a reserve fuel supply. But on a fuel injected one, if you aerate the pump and your fuel pressure dips, you can have big problems, especially when you're talking about that much power. 700 horse goes lean. It's a problem.
But you know, they're cheap, so it might be an option for, you know, something that we cut the top open and put baffles in. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we have some thinking to do. Got that lower bar to do. We're gonna kind of angle the bottom bar right here, this bar, but down here, we're gonna kind of angle it down, and so it kind of has that, I want to say canard or lower spoiler kind of look. And if we wanted to, we could attach something there that has the splitters underneath or something. But pretty cool little deal.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be